Hello, hard mode tubers, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Renaissance with another solo challenge with me, BlueAnkylo. Now, if you're watching these series in order, it'll probably make a lot more sense, but if you're in the future and just picking your favorite solos, this might not make a ton of sense, but I have currently done a few solo challenges at this point. We have completed normal mode of, what was it, Dancer and Bard and Time Mage, which were all pretty interesting. I also did Blue Mage. No, Time Mage was technically New Game Plus, right? Blue Mage. So I've done 3 normal solo challenges, and then on New Game Plus I've tried out Time Wizard and Dragoon. They were all kind of fun in their own interesting ways. None of them were, well, okay. Bard was pretty hard. Pretty bad start, and Dancer had a really bad start. But then once they got going, they actually got pretty strong. Today is going to be Archer, actually. My one of the first runs I did in a full man group. I haven't done a solo Archer yet. I don't know how fun or exciting it will be, but I am looking forward to actually using the arrows this time around. Because, well, if you think about it, right, in a group of 4, the Archer rarely kills anything, which means you rarely get crafting materials, which means they can't even use their gimmick. But on a solo run, they'll kill everything, so they'll get lots of materials, and maybe they can use their gimmick more. We'll see. Before I get into that, I want to have a little side and talk to you about solo evoker / as summoner. We're not on New Game Plus, and I'm not going to get into this too long, I promise. But this sucks. This is one that I do not recommend. It is possible, yes. I think probably all classes are possible on normal mode. The big problem, is I had to get to level 9 fighting imps at Canaria before I was able to beat Goblin. And that was with strength maxing. Every single level up until then, up to level 9, had to get strength to do enough damage. And even then, it was a crap shot. So the beginning is about as bad as it's ever been for a solo run. I would say worse than Thief by a long shot, because you get no wooden armor and a wooden staff instead of a rapier. And the Evoker gets 1 hit percent per level instead of the Thief's 2 hit percent per level. So the Evoker is worse at killing imps. In fact, for the most part, 3 imps at level 1 you can't win most of the time. And even if you do win, you lose money every round. 30 gold to heal up, 18 gold for victory. So you could literally softlock yourself if you take the encounters wrong and never get enough levels to kill enough enemies to get gold to get going. It took me until level 4 or 5, and I had to be very careful with encounter selection and luck to get... so this time doesn't... It looks like we're at 7 hours. We're way over 7 hours because of how many resets I have. Once I was level 4 or 5, you could generally fight enough imps to either break even or slightly positive money. And that's really the thing. To do the goblin fight solo, you need a lot of heal potions. So it took me until level 9 to save up enough gold and to get enough damage that I was confident soloing the goblin boss. Once I had that, sure, we can get through Garland, we can get through... what was it? Kate Sith was the Confused at the Witch. That wasn't too bad. It's a bit RNG with getting confused yourself, but not too bad. Kate Sith kills the pirates just fine. Getting through Marsh was brutal. Getting Ramu was incredibly difficult. I think I grinded to level 22. Well, no. Not as high as Thief. So I was high teens, like level 19 before I could defeat Ramu. And once I had Ramu, it was really Kate Sith against the wizards, but Marsh wasn't too bad. Astos wasn't too bad. Like, they're bad. Like, don't get me wrong, they're bad. But this was, like, the worst part was getting Goblin, and then working my way through Marsh sucked. Earth was equally terrible, and it's really because we can't run from battle reliably. We can't dodge reliably. We don't have a reliable sweeper. Like, if you had Fire 2, for like a black mage or a red mage, you sweep your way through those bad, stunning undead packs. We don't have that. So even though you have Ramu, it takes 2 turns, you're very likely stunned and interrupted and dead. You can try going first with a Kate Sif, which, if you do get a turn, is very likely to confuse everything in the enemy party. However, that does not guarantee that you get another turn, because you can confuse them, they can take one turn while confused, stop be confused, you get your turn, you input another command, and they attack you before you get your command, and you're stunned anyway. Confusion is good in a 4-man group, because it works on bosses and stuff, but when you're solo, it's very unreliable. Like, you still have to use it, because we have no other options. But this is my big problem with the Evoker solo, is it is so swingy. When things work, you get your turn, you confuse everything, and then you can follow up with a big spell or something, or just run away. And that feels really good. But so many times, the battle goes on and on and on and on. And it's just this RNG cycle of, do I get a turn? Do the enemies stay confused? Do I actually pull off my spell? Or does it go at the end of the round and then I get interrupted or killed or something? It is brutal. I don't think you can even get Unicorn solo, because you just get stun locked by the what are they, ghouls or whatever that are guarding the Unicorn. Titan is way too risky to get at the bottom of Earth, so I didn't even bother trying. You can retry the Astral Realm summon fights, but Lich actually was a pretty easy fight, all things considered, but it's just so far down that taking those extra steps where you might get stun locked in an enemy encounter, I could go back and try to get it now, but it's also very low value. But yeah, I did eventually kill the Lich. You actually might want to max your Vitality, because most of your main DPS against bosses is Goblin, which range goes up the higher your HP. So maybe you should max your Vitality. We could be quite a lot higher if I was really level up maxing. I haven't really been doing a lot of level maxing, but anyway, the point is, getting through all that was brutal. Then I got then I got the canoe, went to Ordeals. That wasn't too bad. I actually went through and killed Carrie. Carrie was a piece of cake. Tried to get Ifrit a few times. Absolutely zero chance. No way. Not without a ribbon, some sort of fire protection. I even tried, like, people have been talking in the comments, like, oh, Golem, it works on magic now. I'm like, yeah. And there is some way, it's a bit gimmicky, where Golem definitely protects you more than what the formula says there. But it gets broken in one shot. Whatever Ifrit does, or Ifrit, immediately breaks it, and then next turn you're dead anyway. So, yeah, no, there's no healing and surviving. Not on solo anyway. So that's out of the way. And then Ice. Like, I could probably beat Ice at my 1% or 1 in 1,000. But basically, I decided I have to grind until my magic defense is around 100. Because we can never run from undead, not reliably. And we can't kill them quickly, or evade up, or... Like, technically, my best weapon is actually using the Zeus's Glove. So I have a Lightning 2 that's better, honestly, than Ramu, because it goes on... It's about... Ramu is double strength of Lightning 2, but it takes 2 turns to use it. So, actually, Zeus's Glove, you can cast it twice, and it's better, because you might kill stuff on the first casting. Now, the sad thing is item magic doesn't actually use your intelligence, so we would technically do more damage with Ramu, because it'd be boosted by, I think, 25%. I looked up the math, because it's getting tight here on Evoker. Your intelligence divided by 2 is your percentage boost in terms of damage. So we get a flat 25% bonus at the current level. Convenient. Anyway, the point is, bad. I'm not sure I'm ever going to actually record a run like that, because it's really frustrating just how swingy. Like, some fights just no big deal, and you're like, man, this is easy, Blue. But most of the time, it's just... I don't know, very, very... It's not just, like, thief slow. It's infuriating, because you have a chance of just being totally fine, and it takes, like, 2 minutes of battling. Anyway, I'm rambling, but... For now, I'm going to try another new class. I don't expect this to be easy. But we're going to actually start with an archer here, 10 minutes in. I just had to get that off my chest. I'm going to try to finish Summoner on my own, but, yeah, it's a rough solo. Real bad. Also, my mic is maybe quieter today than normal. I swear I have not changed anything, but I'm looking at my OBS micrometer. So if I am quieter today, I'll catch it when I review the video, but I'm talking at the normal volume. My microphone is in the normal position. looking at the reader, it's lower, which is really weird. I don't know what Windows is doing. Anyway, maybe I sound the same. Archers. So we always try to find a good Final Fantasy character that's an archer. There isn't very many archers, right? Like, does anyone have a bow? Try like, I guess like Rosa technically, but like she's a white mage. I don't even think that most of the games don't even have bows, right? Like FF6, I don't think had bows at all, right? I don't think so. 5 technically, but they're all just jobs. 7, there's no archers. 8, I guess you could go guns as sort of like a ranged weapon. What was his name? The sniper guy? Oh, I'm bad with Final Fantasy 8 names. The cowboy. I'm gonna have to look it up. I guess we'll go with him because I don't think there's gonna be any other archers. Maybe in tactics there was an archer. Not even sure about that. What was his name? Irving. Everyone remembers Irvine. I totally remember that guy. Yep. that's what we're doing. Look, I actually kind of liked his character. He was a little bit cocky at the beginning of the story, but then everyone hates him because he failed to assassinate. Spoilers. He failed to take the shot to do his one job, which was assassinate the enemy witch that was taking over the world. So he didn't even do the one thing that he bragged about being good at, and therefore everyone kind of hates him. At least when I was a kid, a teenager. But you know what? I kind of get it, right? These are child soldiers raised in a military academy school with their memories basically wiped, and fighting to save the world that the military can't even do. And like, here, shoot this lady. She's totally evil. Kill her now. Yeah, like, okay, that's a bit rough. Anyway, maybe one day I'll let's play a Fate with on. Let's get going. Let's go. 10 minutes in. I don't know how far we're gonna get. I don't think I ever showed off his like little map sprite actually, so that's cool. So let's look at what do we do with archers, right? So we can aim. Basically, this is like a focused charge. It is technically more efficient than attacking, technically, because you get 20%, I think, bonus damage per turn. Like, if your first attack would be 10 damage on average, if you charge for one turn, it'll be, I think, 22, like 120% boost. If you wait 2 turns, it's 240%. If you wait 3 turns, it's 360%. So you do get more than 2 attacks or 3 attacks by charging. However, every turn the enemies are going to be shooting you, and you're going to be dying. So that's not going to be great on solo. In fact, I barely think it's ever going to be good. I guess you can't miss. I think you can't miss. Yeah. We do get special items from killing enemies, which we'll get a lot of. And we can craft them into special arrows. That's going to be the real fun part, if there is a fun part. Technically, we don't have to use bows. There are daggers, but we'll see. And sure, we can see trap tiles. Great. Yeah, I'm not expecting this to be amazing, but it does have a lot of crit percent. That's one thing I didn't talk about in the first run. A 10% crit for a base weapon is quite solid. Problem is he only ever gets 1 shot. We're not getting, multi-shot. His accuracy will literally never let him do 2 shots with a bow. So we're only ever doing 1, and I have a feeling his damage is not going to be impressive. So the question will be, of course, is this better or worse than Solo Thief? At the beginning, it's looking similar, because this is about Rapier tier, and this is Thief tier, and that's all we get. But I think we will be better against bosses. Because once I start getting these things, some of these will work real good on different bosses. Like, Garland is a humanoid. One of these is humanoid. So we could one-shot them and stone them, basically, right? Spellcasters like Astos, Bam, anything that's susceptible to silence. Paralyze is really nice. This wing shot's pretty bad the last time I tested it out. Nullifying... So this would nullify the stun lock, or like stun touch. Like sorcerers have death touch. Theoretically, this has a 50% chance of disabling their stun touch. Like that's not going to work. You need to run or kill them, or have mage staff or something maybe. Slow can be really good, very effective against Kraken. Scale shot, not great. That's just too much of a difference. Like 4 to 8 is not enough. But silence is good. Lowering their magic defense isn't going to help us much either on solo. So really we're looking for headshots, maybe throat shots against a couple enemies, tail shots against certain enemies. I doubt wing shots can be very good, but we'll probably be relying a lot on leg shots. So we want whatever it is we need to craft those. Fangs and hides, primarily. That's what we're looking for. So, let's get going. That's why I made a backup save of my summoner, because I knew it was going to take forever. So, can we kill a group of imps? That's the full pack. If we win here, we break even in terms of gold. And because we have wood armor, we should be okay. This is just a fight. We still don't one-shot them. Oh, great. That feels like the evoker. We can look at our damage. I spend a lot of time looking at the math. Imps have 4 absorb, so you need 12 base damage to guarantee. Wow, we did win. Not a great start. Actually, our damage, our hit rate is much higher than an evoker starting, and we have some crit compared to a wood staff. But our damage is actually the same as an evoker with a wood staff. Because I remember I did the calculation based on 8 damage minus 4. I think that's what it was. So it's 8 to 16 damage range, which means it's 4 to 12 damage range. Which means on average we do kill them, but a lot of times we don't. Because they have 8 hit points. That's fine. Now I did notice we got a lot of drops, right? So unlike our test run as in a group composition, now that we're running solo, and we're gonna lose this fight, I think. Maybe we get lucky. Come on, Irvine. Is it Irvine? Irvine? I'm gonna say Irvine. If your name's Irvine, you tell me in the comments. All right. I'm not gonna be doing stat maxing, although maybe I should. Strength and agility are. I think all we really care about is strength. Well, agility, vitality, luck. We're gonna need hit points. We're gonna need luck. Agilities for evasion. Yeah, we need everything except intelligence. Fine. I was like, we don't need all the stats. No, we need all the stats. Everything but int. So that's level 2. We do get 3% hit per growth, like a fighter. If only you had multi-attack. That would be great. Unfortunately, we do not get multi-attack. Now, yeah, we're only getting fangs from these things. Now, strictly speaking, this might be enough to kill Garland. Once you hit him a few times, I could almost never build these. When I was playing in the group, I probably just got more fangs in the first 2 fights than we got in like half the game, because it was so rare for the archer to kill anything. Yeah, we can. I was thinking maybe I would not make the weakest of the arrows, but I think because we're gonna get so many fangs early on, there's no reason not to stock up. So okay, 3% hit growth per level. We don't always have to use the bow, right? We can trade that in for a dagger, and I mean the mass, assuming we ever get there. So the high hit percent growth will have some value. And I think, okay, technically, that 23% hit rate does affect your damage. I don't know the formula. Where does it say? Bow proficiency. The base damage is increased by your hit percent. Now, how much is a really interesting question. It can't be very much, because we still did like 6 or 7 damage to an imp, which means when we had a damage of 8 minus 4, our minimum against an imp would have been 4. If we fought and fought and fought and fought, eventually you can figure out what our new minimum was. The hit percent cannot add more than 3 at 20% is what I'm trying to say. We know a low end based on this. So now our minimum damage to an imp is 5. So if we see another 8, for instance, or another 7, if we see another 7 at level 2 with 9 damage, we know that 23% hit rate turns into a minimum of +2 damage, in theory, assuming you guys are following along. Pretty sure that's correct. So I don't know how good it is. If it is something like hit percent divided by 10, that's really bad. It needs to be like, because you lose all your extra attacks, it really, really needs to not be a tiny bonus. But I should keep an eye on the numbers here. 12 damage. Also, at the high end, so you could also calculate it based on the high end, right? So our max damage is 18, assuming it's not a crit. 18 minus 4 would be 14 damage. So if we see anything above 14, just equal it. There, that was 16. So that was a +2 roll from the hit percent. Or I don't know if it's a roll. Probably not. 20. That's pretty good. Although, did it say crit? I didn't catch it. It was going super fast. If you can get 20 damage with no crit. So if hit percent just adds points of damage, that means 20 plus 4 would be 24. Our base damage would have to be, like normally would have to be 12 to get that. So if we are getting +3 base damage, that can roll into +6 by the formula. Like, instead of going from 9 to 18, we're going 12 to 24. So basically we're getting +3 to 6 damage, maybe. If that's the case, that's pretty solid. Keep sciencing. 13. 19. 14. I mean, we're getting lots of... If our damage range was 12 to 24, -4 is 8 to 20. That's pretty close to the average we're hitting right now. So +3. We can work with that for the moment. We'll get another level up, we'll mess with it. 10, that's definitely not great. So 10, our base was 9, so that's not low enough to really tell me anything. There's a 9, so our minimum is actually normally 5, because it'd be 9. That was a crit. Don't count that one. 30. Oof. Trouble is going quite quickly. And there's a lot of tech scrolls because I'm getting those fang drops. So it's hard to notice. But the crit should show up before the damage if it's a crit. 13. Yeah, we're looking for high end, low ends. Someone's probably got a formula for it if I were to look it up. We'll get a level up though, and then maybe we'll go try to fight Garland. But clearly, we should have as many of these arrows as we want. So that might be enough. These arrows, the basic ones, just reduce the physical damage of the enemy. But that's pretty good against Garland. We'll want to buy some heal potions probably. Well, the problem is it's 50-50. Oh, we got no strength that time. We continue to get 3% hit rate, so whatever the hit percent damage scaling is, it will continue to scale at some level. I have a feeling killing Garland is not going to be incredibly difficult here. So far, I mean, not much different than Fighter, although funny that we couldn't kill an Imp at level 1, guaranteed. We're going to try to run. I wonder if his basic luck growth is decent. He starts with mostly agility and luck, so there is that. Yeah, okay. I suppose we could have tried to kill Wolf, like, you know, other enemies will drop other arrows, or other materials for other arrows. Well, let's see if we can just go straight here, basically. Fang shot. So that was theoretically -4 base damage. No, not that time. Not that time. That's 1 out of 3. 1 out of 4, we're probably dead. I mean, we have weakened him a fair bit. A crit. Does Does it not stack? Is it only once? Oh, that's really bad. So that completely... If you can only do this once per enemy, then it's... Why? Why would you only allow it to work once? Like, yeah, we got him. It did help. We got him first try. Like, don't get me wrong. If we gave him... It was actually a 75% chance. Yeah, it should have happened regularly. If we reduced his physical dead attack by 4 to 8. Let's pull him up. It does help if you have good absorb, of course. Kind of like the dancer's thing. We would have taken him from 15 to 30, which for us, minus 4 armor, is 11 to 26. But we would have dropped it by 4 to 8 again. So that puts his base at 11 to 22. Minus our armor becomes 7 to 18. So that's... If that's what happened, that's good. I thought he hit us for... Okay, you know what? We won that first try. I need more information. Because I thought we had his damage range lower than 7. So the number we're looking at for him... Because I have 4 absorbed from the wood armor. Minus 4 from the arrow, in theory. 11... I'll say effectively minus 8, right? So if he does less than 7 damage, then I'm not understanding things. And I thought I saw him roll a 6 or something. We're gonna test this out because I feel like we're gonna need this for harder fights. We need to know. 16, that's fine. We have an attack down. We do not have an attack down. He did 4 damage. Okay. So 4 damage. How is it just lying to me? Yeah, because he's not averaging anything near what the range would have said. Like he is averaging like 4 to 6 damage right now. 4 to 7 maybe. How is that possible? Still got me, but I could have used a healing potion earlier. Like, what are we missing? I feel like that worked. Okay, maybe I was thinking 4 to 8 would be the range, the minimum and the maximum. Maybe his base can be reduced by 4 to 8. That makes it even more RNG, which sucks. Makes it really hard to figure out. And the fact that it doesn't seem to stack, I'm not a fan of. Even worse for our poor archer. So let's say we got a minus 8. If that was a random roll, and you reduce not just his max, you reduce his basic 15 number. Because that is, I think in the code of the game, it's not like it has a 15 to 30 range. He just has an attack of 15, and when it does the damage calculations, it's damage base to damage times 2 is the range, and then subtract whatever you actually get from your armor from that. So if you got a minus 8, that would put him at 7 to 14. That would be an incredible nerf for Garland. Now, that's not going to be as amazing later on, but if he rolled 8, that actually cuts his attack, less than half, 7 to 14. And then our armor brings that down to 3 to... He should still be hitting... Even if that was the maximum, and he got it down to 7... Double would be 14, minus my armor. He'd still be hitting for 10 at the max range. Ooh, this is... Sorry, well, I don't know if I'm sorry. It's gonna take a little bit longer, because I need to know. I need to know. 7 damage. Misses. 14 damage. See? I mean, we're getting lots of dodges anyway, but yeah, there's the 12. So, maybe it really is when you apply the arrow, and like, maybe we got a bad roll. Maybe we only gave him minus 4 damage this time. Because he's still hitting pretty hard. Because the last fight, he was doing way less than 14, 15 damage per hit. Ooh, I don't like that. Because I don't know... That makes it very... strange how effective this would be. So he starts with a 9, which would have been a 13. That would have been an 18. 14. That's a 20. That gives you an idea of his range. That's a 21. So if we get a bad roll on the 4 to 8, is max. If we rolled a 4, then we see the 11 to 22 minus my armor. No, because yeah. I think that's what we had last fight, because he was rolling up to around. He was hitting us for, what was it, 16, 17 damage? If you add the absorb into that, that puts him at 21-ish, 20-21. Which is, I think, near his maximum if we have him a -4 base attack. But that's not the same every fight. Because sometimes the arrow works decently. And now he's hitting us for single digits. Yeah. Maybe we got like a -2 or 3 this time. Well, minus, I guess from 4 to 8 would be a -6 or 7, something in the middle. Because he's still hitting us for low double digits. Oh, I don't know if I like this. I mean, I'm glad I know how it works, or at least I'm coming to know how it works better. But that's adding a strange. It's taking a pretty weak arrow. I really thought it would stack. See, that's the problem. I thought we could just keep giving him -4, -4, -4, and eventually we'd be fine. Man, developers, do you not like archers? Does no one like archers? Okay, I think that means all you could reliably, like, Fang Shot will only 3 times out of 4, 75% chance to reduce the enemy's physical base damage by 4, but maybe it'll roll up to 8 if you're lucky, which means the range is either 4 to 8 up to 8 to 16 in terms of max damage reduction. When is that going to matter? Like, sure, it helps against Garland. Theoretically, drops his attack in half. But like, let's think big bosses, right? Against the Kraken, that will do nothing. All you could reliably do is reduce his attack by 4. 46 to 96 doesn't do anything. And even if it rolls up to 8, that's 42 to 84. It's still snug. It makes 0 impact on the Kraken, really. I don't think you'd even notice it. Obviously, the Kraken is the biggest hitter, but I don't think it would matter against Carry. Even the Lich. Like, anything with more than 20 base attack, it's just they don't care. And yes, I know your absorb factors into it, so depending on our gear, the more base absorb we have, the more of an impact this damage reduction will do. Ooh, not a good start for our archer. I mean, yes, technically we killed Astos level 3, sure, but in terms of his skills, not impressing me yet. But hey, maybe we'll get some better arrows and they'll work. They'll work. Are we going to be able to defeat pirates? Well, we do have wooden armor. Maybe I should pick up the cap. What's the base damage on a pirate? I think we might need the 6 absorb rather than 4 for pirates. They're all going to do 8 to 16 damage. Yeah, every point of absorb really makes a big difference here. This is the problem with like pure mages with like just cloth armor. 1, 2, or 3 absorb barely helps, but we can get up to 6 absorb. But we have no ability to get a sweeper, right? That's what I was thinking. So let's save the prologue cutscene. We might have to grind for some heal potions or something anyway. And I guess the arrows don't help at all against pirates. Yeah, I'm just thinking out loud. We'll probably have to grind. The question is, can we kill, like, an iguana or an ogre? Because it'd be great to grind on ogres compared to imps. If the sooner we can kill an ogre, the happier I am with this solo challenge. We're also going to get a level up in a little while. Should have bought another tent. Maybe. This is a test run for an ogre. This is like a baby ogre, kind of. Hits pretty hard, even with that damage down. Yeah. Yeah. So that was, I mean, that's the trouble. If I get them, I don't know. You don't even know if you get the -8 or the -4. Should also look up while I'm figuring this stuff out. Where are my bows? Or should I consider equipping a knife? Nah, it doesn't really matter. At the moment, we're going to one-shot pretty much whatever we... Now, Fang Shot might be good against these multi-attacking ponies. Yeah, because their base damage is fairly low. They just hit a lot. But if we can reliably go 4 hits for 4 damage, we should be okay here. Or we're getting decent dodges, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, cool. So we're actually pretty good against one mad pony. Hope you're impressed. That's the kind of enemy we have a slight advantage on. Great. I'll take that 1 extra armor, I guess. 1 little spider. Sure. Like some characters, we're just better against single enemies. That's fine. I didn't actually bring another tent, so we need a little bit of luck to get out of here. We're probably okay. In his last words. While we're holding A to win, let me scroll down to arrows or bows, whatever they're called. Bows. So we have a short bow. We can get a better bow in Provoca and a better bow in Elfland too. So we get a lot of early, like, it's kind of stacked. There's a bow for sale, Corneria, Provoca, Elfland, Crescent, and Melmond. So we basically get all the bows early game. And of course, the so-called ultimate bow is available once you get the airship. We can win this. Although it is, I would say, just looking at the stats, it is questionable whether the Yoichi bow, which is available on the world map, is actually better than the purchasable Gaia bow. The Rose bow is higher base damage and hit rate, but less crit percent. So, it's kind of debatable which one you like more. The base damage is very important. Alright, got a couple heal potions, couple tents. That should get us to Provoca. Don't Provoca me, man. Let's get a level up before we go, though. Maybe I can find, hold on, there's like the system error dude, whoever that is, has put a lot of information on all the different classes available. You can find it on the Discord if you're curious. I'm looking up if there's any details about how like, he's the kind of person, or she, I don't know, doesn't really, I have no idea. But they're the kind of person who seems to dig into the code a bit. So I'm trying to see if there's like a note about how the damage formula works for these bows. Preliminary testing seems to indicate that half their hit percent gets added to the damage value. That did not seem true to me. That's like, based on when I was fighting imps, I would scale that to maybe 1/4 of your hit percent. Because we rolled low enough. No, there's no way. If you added half of your hit percent, did I read that right? Half their hit percent to add to damage. No way. If you added half your hit percent at level 1, 20% hit rate, that would be 10 bonus damage. You'd go from 8 base to 18. We would never you would always one-shot an imp. You could never roll 7 damage. So it cannot be nearly that large of a bonus. Maybe it was in a different version, perhaps. But in the version I'm playing, 2.1.3, there's no chance of that. Maybe archers were better in the past. That's gonna really be a shame if they actually got nerfed, because they're not very good, I don't think. We rolled badly on the archer. Actually, I didn't even check if one other thing, just to add in here. Not only is Fang Shot a pretty minor debuff, it doesn't even apply guaranteed. It's still only a 75% chance. So, you know, if you're not paying attention, you can use the skill and it doesn't even necessarily apply. This seems pretty bad. Well, okay, what are we comparing it to? Compared to Thief, we're fine so far. I mean, we run or we die, yeah. Yeah, we tried this. So I don't know what... I got the attack down, but how much of a difference is it going to make? Ogres might be good for testing our damage range as well. I can't remember their exact absorb. It's not looking good. I think we just run. Yeah. Science. I guess you can... I always forget you can open this in the middle of battle. It's interesting. They got 10 absorb, right? So... And they hit harder than Garland. So we really would need the roll up on the arrow thing. Maybe the solution to ogres will be if we can farm a few of those... the second magic arrow. The one, I think I can already make one. Our hit rate is really good, by the way. Missing. That reminds me of Final Fantasy 2. Bows just miss all the time. It's really. I think it's really hard to build agility in FF2. Kind of the problem with that. Actually, yeah. Well, we can make a leg shot. So we need hides, basically. I think we're probably never going to run out of fangs, so that's probably fine. I guess we try. I don't know. We got the attack down on the top one. We did not get the attack down on the bottom one. Again. And we're dead. I mean, don't get me wrong. Very rarely can solo classes beat Mad Ponies. A fighter, probably, but that's about it. They just, it's in their nature to crush a solo. In fact, even when you're not running solo, Mad Ponies are brutal on your mages and thieves and stuff. Chain Armor, I think, gives you enough base absorb that it doesn't matter, but everybody else gets trounced. We can... Let's try. Okay, we got the Paralyze. It lasted a single turn. Oh, man. This is... I cannot catch a break. Irving, you suck, man. Like, he's got a thing that a thief can't do. If we can hedge out some advantage from it, I think he'll be better than a solo thief, but he might be worse than everything else. There's no way. Okay. You know, this is why I brought the tents. In theory, I can save on the way over, but kind of wanted to get like halfway, which is, I guess, we're a little bit more than halfway. But I am really low on gold, so I can't really afford a lot of... I haven't done any grinding. Should we try to win this fight? I think it breaks even if we can win 9 damage base. So, seeing as I can look this up, here you go. 6 absorb, so we would have rolled a 15 damage. That's not much from whatever our hit rate is adding. But if we can get to provoke a... we need some money. We can see how much they cost, but maybe we can buy the better bow. Our base damage definitely could use a little top up. I don't think we'll have enough money, but let's see. Let's see what it Oh man, that's like the most expensive weapon in... Why is that so expensive? The short sword is $550. This is more expensive than a short sword. And it's just an average longbow. It's not even very good. I think the stats... I mean, yeah, it has more crit rate than a short sword or a hand axe. Hand axes and short swords are $550. Scimitars are $200. Why is this so expensive? This is the... Like, do they seriously hate archers? Does everyone hate these guys? Is he somehow supposed to be crazy strong that needs a nerf? I mean, yeah, right. We don't even hit, we just miss. Okay, I didn't know. Not only can this fail to apply a random debuff that could be a -4 or up to a -8, which is already pretty bad, and it can not affect it with a 1 in 4 chance. You can also just miss, of course. Of course, it's not even guaranteed. That's brutal. What? What? That's twice in a row. We got the paralysis, which is 50%, and it just breaks out of it instantly. Alright, this guy's looking worse and worse as I try out his new things. Like, yeah, we're only level 4. I'm a bit of a low level, but... I mean, even if we win this fight, we lose gold. I can't actually take that. If we cannot defeat an ogre, like one ogre, not a double ogre, I understand. If you cannot beat a single ogre, or a single iguana, then I don't know what we're gonna do. Fight imps until we're level 9 again, like an evoker. Oh man, this is not good. I was really hoping our Fang Shot would stack. Why doesn't it stack? Like, what possible reason is there for it not stacked? Imagine you had a group of 4 men, 4 teammates. When is, like, it does so little damage reduction that by the time you applied it enough that it would work on Carry or Warmech or something, the fight will be over anyway. It will be so slow at reducing their damage that by the time it's actually making a difference, the fight is probably over. So, I mean, I don't think we might win. Two Grimps. I mean, we lose 2 gold, technically. I wasn't expecting a win on that fight, to be fair. I'll take that. We did get a couple, oh, I should have made, I need to make the arrows before I go to the inn, because every time I make them, I just die instantly. That's gonna be too much. Ha. I am very confused by his first magic arrow. In what world is that ever useful? And I'm not trying to think of it purely in solo challenge, but when would you actually say Fang Shot is worth an action? In my proper 4-man group, I did not get enough fangs to make a bunch of spare Fang Shots. I had to grind to get enough fangs to make the cool arrows. So it's not like you can just spam them. You have to grind for them normally. Solo's a little different, of course, but it doesn't even guarantee to apply the effect, right? We got a good crit at least. We're probably still dead, but maybe. Oh, maybe. Don't play that music on VLC. Okay. We're technically losing gold. This is the last... Oh, man. I mean, it was a good experience. It was an experience. So So the ponies are good for making those, at least. And we will have tons of fangs in this specific run. So now I'm as loaded up on early game arrows as I'm going to get for a while. I'm really hoping I can take down an ogre now. Otherwise, I don't know what we're going to do. If we can kill one ogre, I mean, even a single one of these would be fine, I guess. I hate this game. Why? You can't... It's not even a guaranteed hit. I'm not taking an ambush. I don't even think we can win it 1v1 normally. The fact that these arrows can miss and also fail to apply the status, and the status has a random range anyway, I just don't agree. That's too many debuffs for, like, I keep thinking I must be missing something. Like, are you supposed to aim for them or something? Okay, if there's a multiplier, how could we test? Because, like, if you do the 3 aims, right, it shows you your fight damage. It doesn't say it does anything on these. But, like, if it somehow combos charge, 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 and then Fang now applies 3 levels of damage debuff, how would you ever know that? So we won. That fight was double Grimp and a Gerwolf, as long as we got a probably pretty strong damage down on the Gerwolf. I imagine we must have rolled a little high on that. Yeah, we're nowhere near buying anything. We can barely afford, like that. Like I'd like to buy the gloves for a little bit of absorb, but at the moment, I mean, we could try here. Yeah, the Gerwolf hits pretty hard, so we need, like, a pretty significant damage down on him. And then I need to just start taking things out quickly before we get, you know, attritioned out. I think that's the play. Yeah, there's no way of doing that. That's too many. Fair. No way. Sure. The problem with this fight is we lose gold, so I win easily, but we can't really, like, I don't think I even have the money to go rest. Or, if we're by Canaria, that'd be fine, but we have to take another fight, which is probably going on. Well, here we go. We get to find out. Critical hit. What? Since when does paralyze last a single turn? Am I... Okay, hold on. There's another tab where I've got all the new abilities. Where are these arrows? Is there something about this that I'm... like, it's lying to me? Because usually paralysis is good, right? The hold spell, if you can get it to work, is great. We've had other solo runs where we had access to... What was it? Trance on the Blue Mage was really effective. Even on Chaos. Where... Sorry, hold on. I'm finding my arrows. Dances... Here they are. So, Fang Shot. Doesn't really talk about it. Negligible effect. Leg Shot. 50% chance of paralysis. Guaranteed versus giants. Supposedly, he only has a 10% chance of recovering every turn. So far, 3 out of 3 they've recovered instantly. What are the odds of that? Okay, he stayed paralyzed. I mean, maybe we should be charging? I don't know. Okay. I mean, this is really an RNG swing, right? I swear, unless I was missing something, 3 attempts in a row, we managed the paralysis, and then they immediately broke out of it. That should be a 1 in 1,000 chance to have that happen 3 times in a row. Not a great start. Let's just leave it at that. I'm gonna buy my little tiny armor upgrade because we finally have a little bit of money. But as long as we have the materials to build those, and we don't totally get screwed by RNG. We can kill an ogre at level 4. That's decent, but it's looking pretty RNG reliant, and it is something you have to grind for. Like, we don't just throw those arrows out of the ground. So we're at -6 now because absorb. What is... I know the iguanas hit pretty hard for their level. They're an 18 base. So if we rolled an 8, maybe that's 10 to 20 -6. The lowest we could bring their damage range down to would be 4 to 14, I think. If we had everything line up. Clearly, that's not what happened. But if we get a crit, I mean, and we do get crits more often than some people. At least one iguana is a break even on gold. And progression on XP. Ooh. We have no... We'll never have any sweeping ability. Well, until we get items. Like casting. He just crit me before we got a turn, so let's just reset. Funny little glitch there. If you reset in the middle of the attack animation, it stays until you make another attack. I guess we take this fight just to farm the resources, although I think all these guys drop our fang. I think this is 50 gold-ish. It's 6 per imp, and Grimps are either 2 or 3 imps worth. Well, it's almost a break-even. I'll take that. Eventually we'll find another solo ogre, and that should do it. We can make a throat shot. This was from other things. That's not going to matter until we get to... Realistically, Astos, nothing else, right? There's nothing else that casts magic until then. I'll build one anyway, but we probably will only need one, because we're just going to use it and reset if we fail. Because, I mean, what else are we going to do? We're going to be rubbed out if we don't. Alright, I don't think double creep is something we can take. Definitely Wolfpack, not excited. I guess we could try the arachnid groups over here. The problem is, like, I don't have the spare gold for pure potions right now. Like, the arachnids are good XP and they don't really do much damage. Maybe we could try... We need something we can live long enough to do an aim. Okay, I'll try one level of aiming, and we'll try the Fang Shot against an iguana next time. I don't think it will work like that. It certainly doesn't seem to be documented if that's the case. But if we could get, like... Because the Dancer's Bravery mechanic worked like that. So the Archer is like a newer class than the Dancer, I think. Or at least in one of the newer ones, I think. Like, I was thinking some of the earlier jobs might be a little bit jankier than the newer ones. Just give me something that I've got a chance to make a little bit of gold. Ambush by wolves. Of course. Yeah, the number of things we can fight is very limited. I mean, it says damage of next basic bow attack, so I wouldn't expect this to be. But we're gonna kind of science this a little bit. We got an attack down. It did consume the aim. I can't tell you if it did bonus damage or not, but if it worked, in theory, he'd be at like -8 to 16 of his base damage. How could we tell? 6 is pretty low. That means he rolled a 12 at, like, before our armor. Does that give me enough information? How much reduction does it take to get an iguana down to 12 damage? No, that's just a -6. So one normal Fang and a minimum damage roll would bring him down to. So we would need to see a damage roll less than 4. Because right now we could give him -8 base in our range. That puts him at 10, -6 absorb, puts us at 4. And that's assuming I'm understanding how this works at all. We can win this fight, but it'll lose us money. I guess we take it. I mean, we can probably win this fight. I guess it gets us fangs. If that's all we get from wolves and grimps. So we need to start thinking about enemies that drop... I'm really annoyed that longbow is so expensive. It would actually significantly help here. If I could do a little bit more damage with a weapon upgrade, that would be great. I need to kill a bunch of ogres, I think. Okay, let's try again. I feel like if I do 2 aims, it's too slow. Like, in theory, if it's 4 to 8 plus 4 to 8 again, we should be able to see a bigger damage reduction, if that's how it works. 19 was weak anyway, that's not even very impressive. It's me for 20, I don't think it works the way I was. Yeah, I have a feeling aim doesn't work with that, so that's another sort of shame. Yeah, so if that doesn't work, then why is Fang Shot so bad? I guess I didn't see... Okay, I have to do it again. I didn't actually see if it got the attack down number. It is possible that I aimed it and we just failed the 75% chance. Wasn't paying enough attention. I know I can slow things down. We're gonna die so often right now. Ooh, we could do... Because we got Preemptive Strike, we can do this twice. If this works, this should definitely be noticeable with 3 layers. We got the attack down, 12 damage, 17 damage. Yeah, there's no way there's no way it stacks like that. So you can't keep using it, and it doesn't multiply via aim. So it's garbage. Like, it's just bad. It has a tiny effect on the first few encounters in the inner sea. Barely. It already barely matters. Like, against an iguana, it doesn't even make much difference. When would you ever use that? Like, it helped against Garland, but you don't need help against Garland. I mean, solo it helps, sure, but every other scenario with 4 parties, it doesn't make any difference. I'm really struggling. I know we've talked about it in the comments and just reading along. The game isn't... The Renaissance project isn't meant to be super balanced. That's not really the objective. But, like... I thought that was more in terms of, oh, some abilities and classes are just stronger than others, they're more overpowered. Why would you add something that's not worth using? Like, I'm trying to think of what the design decision here is for stuff like Fang Shot. It is actually quite hard to get the materials in a normal group, because you don't kill very reliably with one of them. You know, if you've got a fighter or anyone else that's strong, they'll be getting most of the kills. Okay, let's see if this paralysis lasts. Okay, this time it's more than a turn. I still think attacking every turn is better, because you're just hoping for a crit. If you charge for 3 turns and he unparalyzes, like, you're in more trouble. I suppose in one sense, like, those drop tails. Or at least they can drop tails. Are those good? Slow is potentially good. Depends what we're fighting. Well, we're already over an hour. Wow. I have not made as much progress as I was expecting, but I've done a lot of testing. Let me just end the episode with, let's see how bad this is. Maybe we have a chance. I don't know. It's not looking great. I'm probably going to need to buy a bunch of heal potions. I need the money, right? I need to find a way to... Not even money right now. Yeah, 2 is not a good start, if that's all we managed to pull off. Let me try again. I might be grinding here for a long time between episodes. None of our bow skills are going to do anything. Aim is detrimental. The skills don't help. All we can do is try to kill them and then drink heal potions once we're like halfway through. And right now, we can kill 2. I need to kill at least 4, if not 5, before switching to heal potions. Now, we have wood armor, so it's a little bit easier than if you're trying to run Dancer. The Dancer really struggled here. We have more armor than a Dancer, but we might not be much better off. At least the Dancer could steal 6 hit points every time she killed 1 or 2, or every second one. I have a feeling I'm going to be encounter manipulating to fight ogres until I can afford the bow. And that'll make killing ogres a little easier. And then I'm going to be grinding gold until I can afford a bunch of heal potions. Because, yeah, we're not... I was wondering if I could kill 3 or 4 with a little bit of luck. The answer seems to be no. We're not even close. So, okay, guys. Episode 1, Solo Archer. I'm giving it the Ankylo seal of this is bad. I was hoping that maybe I was missing something about how the skills worked during my... You know, when you're playing with 4-man party, you got 4 different people. Wow, we just barely killed 2 and then died. You know, when you've got a full group, there's a lot of different skills competing, and it's hard to really see, you know, which abilities are better, because maybe I don't test them very much or whatever. Maybe we scale based on level more, like how a monk does. I mean, obviously we're not, because we're not going to be getting 4 punches or anything. But the hit percent adding to... No. There's no way. There's no way it's even as effective as a normal martial character. Well, we'll see. I will do some fighting off camera. It may be one of these classes that really you should stat max, which is... I'm trying not to do. I did it with a bard, but it's a pain. So I'm trying not to do that too often. Alright. Episode 1 of Solo Archer. Not off to an amazing start. I mean, at least we killed Garland. If you were playing Solo Evoker, I would not have been able to kill Garland yet. We would be still fighting imps for another few hours, but that's different. At least the Evoker starts speeding up once they get some spells. When are we going to speed up? What have I got myself into? Oh no. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Wish me luck. BlueAnkylo out.